Monday, September 7th, 2015, one minister was reappointed and two new ministers were appointed and sworn in by the governor of St. Maarten. The new members of the Council of Ministers were installed following exact procedures, from signing the national decrees, to taking of the oath, to finally signing the process verbals representing the official record. The ceremony began with His Excellency Governor Holliday welcoming Prime Minister Mr. Marcel Gums into the governor's chambers. Here the Prime Minister presented Governor Holliday with the national decree regulating the honorary dismissal of the outgoing Minister of Tourism, Economic Affairs, Transport and Telecommunication, and national decrees regulating the appointment of the new Ministers of Public Health, Social Development and Labor, of Tourism, Economic Affairs, Transport and Telecommunication, and of Public Housing, Spatial Planning, Environment and Infrastructure, respectively. Governor Holliday then signed off on the national decree, regulating the honorary dismissal of the outgoing minister and the appointment of the three new ministers. Prime Minister Marcel Gums followed and did the same. Governor Holliday then congratulated Mr. Marcel Gums on the appointment of the new ministers. Governor Holliday then addressed the newly appointed ministers on the significance of the oath and of accepting governing responsibilities.
Chairperson of Parliament, Prime Minister, ministers, guests, good afternoon and welcome. And a very special welcome to Mr. Raphael Bozeman, Mr. Ernest Sams, and Mr. Claret Connor for this appointment and swearing-in ceremony here this afternoon. On December 19th, 2014, a new team of 5 of 7 ministers were installed with responsibility for the governing of our island. Today, we are here to complete the team. Mr. Connor, you have decided to continue in a different capacity with the team. And Mr. Bozeman and Mr. Sams, you are both about to join that team. Each of you have been screened in keeping with the regulatory provisions, and your appointment decrees have just been signed. As a result, there rests one legal requirement before you can perform your duties as ministers, namely as Minister of Public Health, Labor and Social Development, as Minister of Tourism, Economic Affairs, Transport and Telecommunication, and as Minister of Housing, Spatial Planning, Environment and Infrastructure, respectively. That is the legal obligation to take the oath of office of Minister of St. Maarten. As I indicated to your colleagues on December 19th last year, accepting the function of minister through the oath which you're about to take in a few moments is first a solemn expression of your commitment to perform your function with integrity. Second, it is your pledge of allegiance to the King and the Kingdom Charter. Third, it is your individual declaration to always uphold the Constitution of St. Maarten. And finally, it is your pledge to always dedicate yourself to foster the well-being of the people of St. Maarten. In that regard, You have been entrusted, and as such, there rests on you individually as ministers and jointly with your colleagues in the Council of Ministers a great responsibility. Through your oath, you will be accepting the obligation to serve all the people of St. Maarten. And in doing so, you have accepted to serve in challenging times. At a time when there is much to be done and when there are scarce means to do it with. Your decisions on the use of the scarce means will have lasting influences on the lives of the people of our island. As a result, I recommend that you use the oath as a guide in the performance of your function aimed at addressing the variety of challenges which our people face. Thus, as you deliberate on taking action on the matters that will come before you during your tenure, I wish you wisdom and strength, individually and jointly, in the conduct of your responsibilities as you seek to meet your constitutional responsibility to the people of St. Maarten. In closing, I therefore invite you, Mr. Boseman, Mr. Sams, and Mr. Connor, to take the oath of office of Minister of St. Maarten.
The three newly appointed ministers then took the oath of office before His Excellency Governor Holliday.
Ik zweer verklaar dat ik, middelijk noch onmiddellijk, onder welke naam of wat voorwendsel ook, in verband met het verkrijgen van mijn benoeming als minister aan iemand, wie hij ook zij, iets heb beloofd of gegeven nog zal geven. Ik zweer beloof dat ik, om iets hoegenaamd in deze betrekking te doen of te laten, van niemand hoegenaamd enige belofte of enig geschenk aannemen zal, middelijk of onmiddellijk. Ik zweer beloof trouw aan de koning en aan het statuut voor het koninkrijk en dat ik de staatsregeling van Sint Maarten steeds zal helpen onderhouden en het welzijn van Sint Maarten naar mijn vermogen zal voorstaan.
Mr. Raphael Boseman.
So truly help me God.
Mr. Ernest Sams.
Truly help me God.
And Mr. Claret Connor.
So truly help me God.
His Excellency Governor Holliday, flanked by the ministers, signed off on the process verbals which represents the official record of the ministers having taken the oath before the governor. This is the group photo of His Excellency Governor Holliday with the complete Council of Ministers. With the appointment of the new ministers, the Council of Ministers, which was installed with 5 ministers on December 19, 2014, now has its full complement of 7 ministers.